Next, I will bring up Sweta, who will be bringing in the next batch of financial services startups from our GIFT program. Thank you, Sweta.
Thank you, Brian. Hi, everyone. I would request you to stay back. There are some interesting Indian startups that have come here. So we have 3 startups from India focused on financial services. Before you hear from them, why don't we spend about 5 minutes just learning more about what is Plug and Play doing in India? We launched earlier this year in India, and I would like to invite Manav, our India head, to quickly talk about what's happening in India at Plug and Play.
Okay, good afternoon. Thanks, Shweta. Have the slides. Okay, so we'll skip this. Yeah, so Plug and Play has been around for 20 years. When I joined Plug and Play about 4 years ago, one thing I kept asking myself, my boss, everyone, why are we not in India yet? And we realized that India is a very, very fast-growing market with a lot happening inside the country, the corporates, the startups, the government. There also is a law that channels impact funding into startups. But with all that happening, we were not able to fully and properly start working there. But the chance came earlier this year when we partnered with the government to set up a GIFT City Innovation Hub. So GIFT City, the name is very nice. It's called GIFT, G-I-F-T, but it actually stands for Gujarat International FinTech City. So FinTech is literally in the name, and it's set up as a special economic zone. What I call it is the Cayman Islands of India. It's set up in a way that you can transact in any foreign currency. I think 15 currencies are allowed. You cannot transact in INR, and there's a 10 to 15-year tax holiday. So for all the companies who were earlier outsourcing work into countries like India, Philippines, Bangladesh, etc., they could set up an entity there, transact in their local currency, and it's like you're operating in your own country, but at an Indian cost base with the talent which is in India, which is great. So GIFT City is our newest office location this year. This is the map of how and what we are doing across Asia Pacific. Singapore being our APAC headquarters, Cambodia, India were launched this year. Australia, New Zealand is coming up next. Hopefully also Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and others. So GIFT City has a separate regulator called IFSCA, which is the International Financial Services Center Authority, which regulates the entire center. There are more than 300 funds who have committed $9 billion there. There are more than 20 banks, more than 10 insurers, and also new use cases are coming up. In domestic India, ship leasing or aircraft leasing is not allowed. All that money, all of that business was going to Singapore or Hong Kong. So GIFT City legalized it. And last year, 2 Indian airlines set a record of buying 1,000 planes from Airbus. The delivery will not happen maybe in the next 10 years also. But all of the leasing is actually now happening in GIFT City. And just based on that, that's a $6 billion of additional business per year coming to just one bank through that. So such new business models, new things that India is trying to do and trying to capture, which was going outside India, GIFT City, from a financial sense, is the answer to that. Not just that, GIFT City is also India's first smart city. So the entire infrastructure on waste management, on electricals, on sustainable running of a city is there. So that's a great first model that India has set up. And I think the Prime Minister has a vision of 100 new smart cities in the next 5 to 10 years, and GIFT City is the first one. So we were brought in to GIFT City by the government of Gujarat, which is the state where it is, and with the backing of Asian Development Bank. So we have set up there for the next 5 years at the minimum, where the target for us is to support a minimum of 250 fintech, insurtech, crypto, and BFSI serving startups, corporations and area. So far in the last 6 months, we've already supported 21 of them. three of which will soon come in pitch. So the two programs we've run have been around acceleration, incubation. The program on impact, where we will be supporting women-founded startups, is going to be launched very soon. And next year we will launch a program where we will connect other global hubs like Denmark, Chile, UK, Japan, UAE to India to set up a bridge of startups exchanging from those countries to India and from India to those countries. Last but not the least, we are setting up a fund structure to deploy capital into a select number of these startups. And our fund should be live earlier next year as well. We aim to invest in about 50 to 75 companies at the early, mid, and the growth stage. So with GIFT IFI coming on board, we very quickly got a lot of interest from VCs, from universities, from banks, and other partners. This is the list of all of the partners we have already brought on board. IFI actually is a sister entity where we are innovating with startups. IFI is the FinTech Institute, where they are helping skill and upskill people on the FinTech areas. So with us and IFI coming on board, now GIFT City has the entire ecosystem in place. It has banks, it has insurers, it has funds, it has startups, it has an innovation hub, it has a skilling hub, and the skilling hub is churning out more people who can work in these startups or in these companies. At Global FinTech Festival earlier this month, we also signed a partnership with MasterCard, where MasterCard AI Garage and Start Path will now be linked with GIFT City Innovation Hub. So we have a total of 21 startups we've supported so far. I won't go into all of them are doing, but you will soon hear from Capita, Spydra, and Zoltz on what they are building across batch 0 and 1. And then, yeah, let's get on to the startups. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manav. With that, let's move on to the startup pitches. We have our first founder here, Neeraj Singh. Neeraj is the co-founder of Zoltz. Zoltz is unlocking the credit for SMEs in global supply chains with its tokenized deep tier supply chain financing platform. With that, over to you, Neeraj.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. I am Neeraj Singh. I am co-founder of Zoltz. Zoltz essentially is building a deep tier supply chain financing platform that unlocks access to credit to SMEs at lower financing rates from traditional banks. How we do it, let's first understand the problem, right? When we look at the global supply chains, usually the credit is only available to the direct vendors of a large corporate, right? And this credit is usually available to 6 to 8% of interest rate. But at the same time, the supply chain has multiple tiers. And the rest of the supply chain is completely ignored by the banks. And this supply chain, or the SMEs in this supply chains, only have one option, is to go to private lenders, where the interest rates are starting from at least 2x or 3x, depending upon how deep they are in the supply chain. We solve for this with our financing platform, where we have mitigated the entire risk. We have allowed the banks to go to these SMEs deeper into the supply chain without increasing the risk, also get new customers which they were not able to service, and make more money, because the interest rate can be higher at deeper tiers. It will still be lower for these SMEs compared to what they were getting, but for the bank it's a higher blended rate. I'll show you how it works. So we take the same example, right? Suzuki sitting at the end, who is our anchor buyer. We have a direct supplier. What we do is, this same invoice, which was getting financed at 8% by the bank, we tokenize it. And we generate equivalent amount of tokens. So we'll generate 100 tokens. If it was a $1,000 invoice, we'll generate 1,000 tokens. Fundamentally, what these tokens mean is that each token on the due date of the invoice will be $1. Right? And the payment guarantee of this token comes from Suzuki, because Suzuki has accepted this invoice. This is a post-shipment financing that we are talking about. Those tokens are assigned to the direct supplier. Then the direct supplier has two options. One, it can take a portion of these tokens and sell it to the banks as a loan against security, because it token becomes an asset class which is backed by the payables of Suzuki. The remaining tokens, this corporate can send it to his vendor and settle the invoice between them, right, as a means of payment. And because it's an asset class, you can set it against your receivables. So your tier 2 guy gets access to these tokens, and the tier 2 guy can do the same thing, right? But with the access of Suzuki tokens, when tier 2, tier 3 or tier N guys go to the bank can just purchase these tokens at a discount without underwriting these SMEs, because the token is already underwritten on the credibility of the Suzuki. That brings down the interest rate for all these SMEs. It brings new customer to the banks, it brings the CASA to the bank, and also the blended rate increases, because as you can see, if the bank was financing at 6% to the tier 1, tier 2 could be 8, tier 3 could be 12. So the blended rate for the bank keeps on increasing as deeper the bank goes. We have successfully run this model in India. In India, there were no regulations, so we worked together with the regulator, with the largest banks in India, and we successfully got approval in August this year. Right now, we have 18 banks in the pipeline with our partnership with the banking consortium. These are the banks that we ran the product with. These are the largest public sector banks, private sector banks in India. Now we are taking the same model and expanding it to APAC region. So we are targeting the Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia corridor, Singapore being the trading hub, your Malaysia being the raw materials capital, and your Vietnam being the SME capital. We are trying to bridge this gap and see how we can use the same model, because the tokens can flow cross-border and the financing can go cross-border as well by the banks. This is what we are aiming to do in the currently. This is our team. So we are a mix of, so we are a tech-heavy team. As you can see, we are mostly a technology company rather than a supply chain financing company. The team has a deep expertise in technology. My co-founder Shubham, he was in CTO of an AI company back in Singapore for 6 years. I come from a digital transformation background. Jen and Ginu, who's our founding engineers, they have built India's first or one of the first cryptocurrency exchanges, and they have been in the founding teams of many startups. So that's about us. Happy to take any questions later. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neeraj. If anyone wants to learn more about Zoltz, their booth is right downstairs, the first booth. So please approach Neeraj and learn more about Zoltz. Let's move on to our next startup. Our next startup is Spydra, and we have Manish Tiwari here, who's the co-founder of Spydra. Spydra operates a low-code enterprise blockchain platform, enabling businesses to tokenize and manage real-world asset in minutes, whether it's on private or public platforms. So over to you, Manish. Let's hear from another blockchain startup.
Thank you, Shweta. Hi guys, I am Manish. I am one of the co-founders of Spydra. I have been involved in the startup ecosystem last 15 years. My first startup got listed in UK Stock Exchange in 2009, and my another startup got acquired by a Japanese-based company, another unlisted company. Over the last period, 15 years of period, I have learned this one undeniable truth. Today, the most valuable assets are still stuck in fragmented, slow and offline markets. But before that, let's understand why enterprises need asset tokenization. Because you can fractionalize high value assets. Asset tokenization brings a lot of operational efficiency. It's a single source of truth. So what all is mentioned here is required by the modern economy or modern systems, how it should work, but it still hasn't been done yet. The very simple reason is that blockchain still is a kind of rocket science to many enterprises. Handling real world assets requires different compliance standards, and there are a lot of issues there. And that's where Spydra as a platform brings in a lot of value. When we look at the market opportunity, asset tokenization is not a market niche anymore. It's the next wave of internet era which is coming. The market is growing at around 83% cumulative aggregated growth, and over $2 trillion of real world assets will be tokenized in 5 years. So we are looking at a very, very big opportunity. How does Spydra bridges this gap? So in very simple words, Spydra is a low-code, highly configurable, most secure, real-world asset tokenization platform for enterprises. Consider this, that this is a factory which is built, which is basically taking any kind of assets, whether it be supply chain, real estate, collectibles, or bonds or securities, and it's built on both, it can support both private and public blockchains, and there are various different modules which it supports. So let's say you want to define tokenomics, whether it's a debt kind of model, equity kind of model, the platform handles that. You can mention different kind of compliances, whether it be jurisdiction based, or let's say any kind of KYCs, AMLs you want to implement, that supports it. You want to define what kind of custody you want to provide, whether being a non-custodial, custodial options, you can do that. Along with that, if as an asset tokenization platform, you want to support either fiat payments or let's say stable coin payments, or let's say even different kind of currencies, you can very well do that. So in a way, we have created a platform which can help you in tokenize different kind of assets without writing a single line of code. There are three important parts to any of this platform. First is the infrastructure setup. The second is actually the writing the smart contract, and third is the integration layer. All of those three things are very well easily handled through a UI UX platform where you can drag and drop, and you can actually configure this complete asset tokenization layer, again, without writing a single line of code. So we are not a science project. We are already doing it. We are already solving actual real use cases across different companies, whether it be listed companies or even billion-dollar startups. So we have worked in a food traceability use case, which is one of the largest dairy companies in the world, where they are using our asset tokenization product for providing traceability in dairy industry. We are working in sustainable fashion, again using our asset tokenization for providing complete sustainability, traceability on-chain. We are working with digital asset management companies like Bajaj, which is the largest lending company, around $20 billion company, a listed company in India. So you can see that we have worked across different domains and different industries, solving different actual real problems. This is a few of the stats which we've done over the period of the last 1 year. So we have actually tokenized over 40 million different assets, tokenized values worth over $1 billion, doing over 100 millions of transactions on chain. We have also not only done transactions on chain, we have also released a lot of open source products which are being used over 55 different countries, over 40,000 developers. There's our traction from last 1 year. So we have crossed 1 million ARR. This is the old report. Actually, we have now done doing 1.5 million ARR, and we are on very significant growth. Now we are taking this product to, right now we are live in India, UAE, and in Southeast Asia. Now we are venturing into Europe and US markets. These are some of the customers which we are working with already. A few of them are global customers. We are working with companies like Hitachi Payment System, Raymond's, which is the largest textile manufacturer, and many different banks. So I think, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So in nutshell, any organization which wants to venture into Web3 ecosystem without needing to understand how blockchain works, Spydra is the solution for that. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Manish. With that, we move on to our third startup, Capita. We have Prahlad Jaya here, who's the growth lead for Southeast Asia at Capita. Capita is an equity management platform that helps startups and investors manage their cap tables, ESOPs, and private market liquidity through a single digital platform. And guys, trust me, I have used this platform. It is seamless and interesting. This is our last company from India. However, please stay back. We have an interesting lineup of Italian fintech startups right after this. With that, over to you.
Thank you. So here at Capita, we actually wear multiple hats. We have a huge operation in India because of two companies we acquired. So most of our headcount is in India, but we actually started in Singapore 6 years ago. Since then, we have raised 70 million. We've acquired 3 different companies, 2 in India, 1 in the US. And our latest was a Series B round that we closed about 3 weeks ago. So a little bit about Capita. We are on a mission to unlock the power of ownership. I'll walk you through our suite of solutions. It started with a cap table and ESOP management software, and today we offer much more. And most of our users tend to be growth stage startups. In fact, we've done a lot of work with Plug and Play. We've done workshops for startups over here the past few years. Some of them are customers of ours. And even this year, we engaged with some of you yesterday over the Founders Brunch. So a little bit about Capita. We work with startups across all stages of growth. So yeah, okay. So all the way from the start, which is actually setting up your company as an early stage startup, we help with incorporation in Singapore. We're a registered filing agent with the ACRA in Singapore. So we help with that. We help with your annual filings, AGM, AR filings, all of that. If you want to set up entities like a holding company in Singapore and subsidiaries outside, we support with that as well. Post that, we help you, we specialize in equity, right? So we help you draft equity schemes for employees, right? We have benchmarks around, depending on the stage and industry you're in, how much equity each one of your employees would get, and how to manage the local regulations in all the markets that your employees are in, how much of the company to set aside in the ESOP scheme itself, whether it's 8%, 10%, 20%, we support with all of that. We have those benchmarks. So that's our consulting practice. That's our plan administration business. So a lot of customers start with that, right? Post that, we also have an entire platform to manage the shares that you give out to investors and employees, so cap table and ESOPs, right? That is a SaaS solution that's used by typically seed, pre-A startups and beyond, all the way to even post-IPO companies. We work with over 100 enterprises. We work with over 50 unicorns as well. So all the way across the journey. Now, for later stage companies, there are different audit requirements that come in as you grow and scale the company. So we help with independent valuations and support with the accounting disclosures that are needed around the Series B, C mark as you scale. And finally, this is the most exciting. This is a mature business for us in India, but in this part of the world, Southeast Asia and Singapore, we just got licensed by MAS. We have a capital markets license, which means we trade in secondaries. So in India, we do a lot of pre-IPO deals, very hot M&A market, as you know. So these deals are secondary transactions with growth stage startups, and we are starting to do that now in Singapore. We are focusing right now on US companies. So if you're part of corporates, funds, family offices, institutional investors that are interested in having positions in companies like OpenAI, Perplexity, and beyond, we have a bunch of positions, and we're looking to do even more secondary trades in this part of the world. So that is the last aspect, which is secondaries. And then over time, we want to enable more and more secondaries for customers on our platform as you grow and scale your company. So those are the 4 aspects of unlocking the power of ownership here at Capita. Just to flash, these are some of the customers we work with, all the way from early stage startups to companies that are listed as well. Over 2,000 customers now globally. I'm sure you recognize most of these logos across Southeast Asia, India, and the US. Cool. Thank you all. We have a booth at the very end over there. I have my colleagues, and we have a couple of resources that we want to share with you founders. These are all entirely free. One is the most comprehensive list of investors here in Southeast Asia. So over 200 investors, VCs, accelerators, incubators. This is a free resource that is available on our website. We can share it when you're there. The next is our 2025 annual equity compensation report around benchmarks around equity compensation and how different companies are doing this in the key markets that you might be hiring in. And finally, we have our ESOP guides for all the 6 key markets here in Southeast Asia, and not to mention India, US as well. We have a global guide as well. So all of these are free resources available over there in a form of a book, or you can just go online. The investor list is entirely on Notion, nothing proprietary about it. Just go in, put in your email, and access it. All the best.
Thank you, Prahlad. I am definitely going and checking out that investor list and all the stuff that you guys have it free for our founders here. Please do check out all the startups from India. They are there on booth number 1 and 2. Please visit them and learn more about them from the founders. With that, we come to an end for startups from India.